What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the PrizePicks Picks Show here on Saturday. Golf's already underway. Already seen a ton of birdies, even some eagles this morning. Full day of baseball. Got some games at 4 o'clock and then some more games at 7 o'clock. So we're going to jump right in here. Several 6-pick plays. I've already given away 3 6-pick plays in the Discord. Actually, I think it was 4 6-pick plays in the Pick'em Discord. We can't do all of them anymore. One of the PGA picks dropped. In fact, we're going to start on the PGA side of things today, just because some of those tee times are coming up very quickly. So if you're going to get those in, you got to get them in a hurry. So let's go over to the PrizePicks board. Make sure you guys can see this tab now. Perfect. All right. So this is the birdies or better matchup page over on PrizePicks. I'll blow this up a little bit for you guys. The first one that I loved was Thagala, more birdies or better than Will Zalatoris, but they have teed off. So we can't do that one anymore. But there is still one that I absolutely love. Teeing off in 58 minutes, Tom Hoge, more birdies or better than Adam Svensson, is a fantastic play. I've got this between 60 and 65%. And, remember, this is one of those plays that, yes, it can tie, but we're no longer using those demons trying to get it to 38x. So the tie no longer brings us from 38x down to 10x. It's just the standard 25x down to 10x, which is okay. It's still not optimal, but it's okay, especially when I think it's this likely to hit. Hoge was one of my favorite plays coming into the week. Svensson, a very popular pick this week on DraftKings, but that was very price related. It's not that people think that Svensson is primed to really have a huge week. I really like this one. I just think Hoge's a far, far better player. And Hoge's also a birdie machine. This is a golf course where he should be able to make a ton of birdies. So much of it is about that second shot. He's one of the best iron players in the world, very literally. And he's also been driving the ball especially well. So one of the concerns that I have with Hoge sometimes is he can't take advantage of his iron play and the fact that he's actually a decent putter if he's not driving the ball well. Well, he's been much more accurate off the tee of late. That's continued this week. We just saw him absolutely blitz the course yesterday. There's this idea in golf that it's really hard to back up a low round with another low round. It's not really a thing. In fact, Data Golf found that you're more likely to have a great round after a great round than you are just out of the blue. And that's where that kind of narrative comes from. It's that it's just really difficult to go super low in general. So yeah, doing it twice in a row is rare, but it's not rare because it's especially hard to go low a second time. It's just rare because it's hard to do a low probability event 2 straight days. So I really like this one here with Hoge. And then the other PGA play that I like, the golf course is playing super easy again today. There's no reason why Xander Schauffele should be at 66.5. I would almost say Schauffele is kind of entering the Scheffler tier. People haven't quite realized it yet. Man, he has been that damn good. So less than 66.5 strokes on Schauffele, which means all he has to do is shoot 4 under. If you look at what Schauffele's done, what Colin has done, what Scheffler has done this week, 4 under has been a bad round for those 3 guys. Most of the time we're seeing 5, 6, 7 under from these guys. So really like that again today. And the golf course might even be playing easier today than it has in the first 2 weeks. We already saw Cameron Young start 4 under through 3 holes. We saw Jake Knapp 5 under through 6. Both of those guys had a streak with an eagle at the end. So showdown scoring is absolutely exploding over on DraftKings. But this is the start for me. Tom Hoge, more birdies are better than Adam Svensson, and Xander Schauffele less 66.5 strokes. Because we have a matchup here and we're not just going, Tom Hoge more than 4.5 birdies or something like that, you'll see the payout has not shifted. We're getting the standard 3x. If instead of Hoge, we went to, Colin Morikawa less 66.5 strokes, look, the payout shifts down and that would extend. So if you end up doing a 6-pick play with this start, you only get 21x instead of 25x. So as we've talked about a lot, the PGA product on PrizePicks, very, very poor. We can use these one-off plays and make other 6-pick plays using other sports, great, but we can't just play PGA PrizePicks the way we can play PGA Underdog. I didn't have many that I loved on Underdog, so wasn't able to build one out. Part of that, though, is I've got so many 6-pick plays that I love on PrizePicks, I don't feel like I need that extra action. So with that being said, let's head over to the Pick'em tool for MLB and let's build out the rest of this play. So the very first pick that you see on the board here, Cal Quantrill, less than 17.5 outs. We only have him projected at 15.04. Now, this is such a large edge. You'll see 83.8%. This is such a large edge that I reached out to our chief data officer this morning, and we had a 20-minute conversation on, is there anything that we could be missing here on the outs picked? Any reason why we'd be too biased to the less than side? We checked, to make sure that our double play logic was in there properly. We checked the total batters face projection on Quantrill and found that if anything, we might be a little bit too generous in how many batters we're letting him face in the simulations. Every box was checked. Quantrill, I'll give you an example. Earlier this year on May 14th, he had a start where he faced 23 batters. He gave up 6 hits, walked 3, and still went 6 full innings. How's that possible? He had 4 double play balls. Just insane luck. He had a stretch of insane luck, not just on double play balls, also on batted balls in play, just those turning into outs. All of his underlying numbers say he's a much worse pitcher than his results have shown this year. Now he's in Coors Field. He's going up against a fairly deep Washington lineup that it's not like they strike fear into opposing pitchers, because they don't have those middle of the order guys like a Bryce Harper, a Juan Soto, Aaron Judge. They don't have that type of guy, but they do have 9 guys who can work the count. All can get on base, all can draw walks. And when they get on base, they love to steal bases, which is another thing that kind of tires out pitchers, distracts them. Maybe they get a little bit sloppy on their location, things of that nature. All that being said, this is a play that I absolutely love. There isn't anyone on Washington to correlate that well with, but that's okay, in large part because I'd rather correlate somewhere else anyway. We can go to the outs picks here, and actually the FTN subscribers got the full experience earlier because Charlie Morton had been at 16.5 outs. He has since dropped to 15.5. If we switch this to the less than side, we can still see Morton is now not a super favorable play on the less than 15.5 on his own, but we can correlate that. So let's go to the fantasy points in this game. Juan Soto is still available at 8.0, projected for 11.17. So we're going to add him in there. Hopefully this will run quickly. Together, this was at 43.8% when Morton was at 16.5. We're still getting a pretty solid number here, 34.1%, as you can see, because of this massive 5.8 percentage point correlation bonus. So again, Morton now on his own, only 49%, but Soto's almost 58%. This combination is still not just good, it's pretty great. So for example, let's do this for a second. So 49.1% here on Morton, less outs. If instead I were to go to Aaron Judge fantasy points, I believe Judge is around 53%, something like that. But you'll see the combined percentage for these two is actually significantly lower than the combined percentage for Soto and Morton, because the correlation is just that much higher on that one. Hopefully this Judge pick will load in shortly so you can see that. And it looks like it's not going. Oh, there we go. Okay. So 52.4% on Judge. So more likely than Morton on his own. But now you see the correlation bonus only 1.4%, and we get 31.6% for the combination instead of that 34.1%. So even though the Judge pick on its own is better than Morton, we are much better off with Morton less than 15.5 outs, still playable if you're using the Soto fantasy points as a pairing. On its own, you do not want the Morton under on outs. Together, you very much do. Let's see what we got in the comments. We are in the kitchen. We're making the plays. We got so many 6-pick plays today. So again, all subscribers already have access to all of them. But if you're just here watching, we've got the 2 PGA plays now. We have the Quantrill less than outs, and we have this Soto and Morton combination. So all we need is one more. All we need is one more. And where we are going to go for that one more is to the strikeout department. Look at all of them. And Drew Thorpe was an interesting one. I chose not to go with Drew Thorpe because I instead want to go to Bailey Ober less than 6.5 strikeouts. We've got this around 65%, I believe. And honestly, this is just a bet against Ober. Oakland obviously is a positive matchup, but when you look at Ober, he struck out 8 in this matchup last time. He threw 6 1/3. It was one of his best starts of the year, through 96 pitches. Again, against Oakland. When a pitcher faces the same offense in back-to-back starts, historically, we can see in the data that there is you could call it a penalty, if you will. They don't do as well the second time through. And the reason for that is very simple. The more a pitcher and a batter face each other in a short amount of time, the more familiar the batter becomes with the pitcher, the more the advantage shifts towards the batter. That's why a lot of the time you see guys come up from the minor leagues. They've never pitched in the majors before. They don't have great stuff. You think, oh man, I've got to stack against this guy. There's no way he doesn't give up 8 runs. He was giving up 5 a game in AAA. How's he going to get through a major league order? And then they go like 6 innings, 2 runs, no hard hit balls. And you think, what the heck just happened? It's because hitters really, really crave that familiarity. Obviously, when you pitch against the exact same offense 2 straight starts, they're going to have that familiarity. But this is more than that. In his previous starts, he struck out 5, 2, 4, 5, 4. 6.5 is a huge number for Bailey Ober. I think it's a huge overcorrection to what he did against this A's lineup in his last start, and it doesn't even factor in the fact that you have that penalty. In other words, if he was facing the A's for the first time this month and had this 6.5 number, I still would be very heavily on the under. In fact, our simulation is not taking into account the fact that he faced them that last time, and there is that familiarity penalty. So again, this is another really, really strong play, 64.7%. So there you have it. That is our 6-pick play. That's still very doable. Again, you missed out on Thigala. The other one that I was toying with, I did play once, is this Miles Mikolas, more than 27.5 fantasy points. We've got him projected for 30.5. The tool likes it. The only reason why I'm a little hesitant is because it's on the wrong side of that key number. We know the key numbers 21, 24, 27, 30. We have this at 62.4%. I think it's probably a little bit under 60% because it's right on the wrong side of that key number. If it was 26.5, I would absolutely love it. But if you need something else to mix in there, if you want to run more than just one 6-pick play, you can absolutely go there. So we've got plenty of action today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will catch you next time, which will be on Monday. Obviously, no show once again tomorrow. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.